Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today, a company known for making vinyl buys another company known for making vinyl. We know something, Jon Snow. And Marvel is headed back to Hall H. All this and everything else that happened this week in Geek.
Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hey, it's Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for This Week in Geek, listen, if you attend Hall H, maybe don't sit behind this extra tall Funko fanatic. He's Justin, a.k.a. J-Law.
Yo, what's up?
I mean, I never had to sit behind you when we were at Hall H. Luckily enough, you got to sit to the left of me. But I just feel bad for the person that was sitting back there.
Well, we had the open aisle in front of us when we sat there, right?
That's true.
So we had that leg room, so we could extend.
That's true. You were pretty much like on an angle the entire time, like leaning back.
We were tired.
We were sleeping on the ground. And he's the sweetest summer child I know. He's Kevin, King of the North, Hudson.
I don't know if anybody's ever described me as sweet. I'm more like
A salty
the
summer
sweaty,
child?
I'm the sweaty summer child, if anything.
I love it. Speaking of sweaty summer children, guys, I mean, now it's, after the interview with Hayden, Justin let it slip that he's going to be having a little baby. And Kevin, of course, you announced on one of our previous twigs that you are too. I got to ask you guys a really important question now that our podcast listeners know officially what's going on. What are some of the worst baby names that have come across your mind and you're like, no, that is terrible? Do you have any suggestions for worst baby names?
Names are minimal for us right now.
Yeah.
We're very choosy with names. It's like there's a lot of no's,
right?
And all of those no's are usually based on association and not having a good recollection of that name.
Yeah.
Any of those sorts.
You're almost like it's almost like
one of those things.
It's almost like you're walking on a minefield because you could run into somebody at any point in time that's absolutely terrible, and if they happen to have the same name of the name you're considering for your baby, it's like the worst.
Yeah, I think for myself, I grew up with three younger brothers, and they all have more traditionally female names.
Okay, yeah.
And then with my daughter, we're planning on naming her Robbie, obviously a more traditionally male name. We're doing so after my father, and just because it's a really cool, cute name. But so I'm okay with getting creative, breaking gender rules, all that sort of thing. I think for me, what really bothers me is when people try to make a name unique by spelling it in ridiculous ways. When you start having silent letters and just things that don't work phonetically. As a grammar snob myself, when it comes to writing, I just hate seeing names that are poorly spelled. That drives me nuts.
What's Elon Musk's kid's name? Isn't it like
Well,
AEX?
even they changed it. It because they knew, like, this kid can't grow up with a name that nobody in their right mind can pronounce or understand.
Gosh. Listen, if any of the parents listening to this have kids that are named this, I apologize. But, like, I don't know, like, names like Javen. Like, you can just hear it in the streets, like, Javen, put that down, Javen. Or like Tomothy. Like, no, pick one. It's either Timothy or Tom. Like, don't call your kid Tomothy. I also like parents that name their kids that are just like straight up like words, like sativa. I've met a sativa once, and like I've never met one, but I've heard of Rolex. Apparently, some people name their kid Rolex.
I mean,
I don't know.
at that point, there's no limits, right? Might as well.
Right.
This is my son X-Lax and my daughter Viagra.
Yeah, and Muffin. Oh man, absolutely nuts. And I also like I like old people names though. I think that's starting to come into style still. I love the name. We just talked about Only Murders in the Building. I think Mabel is an absolutely beautiful name. I think you can get away with Susan if she goes by Susie, right? But like I don't know how I feel about like a baby named like Gail or Clarence. Like Clarence to me, like there's some names that I think are still too old.
Like Pearl?
Pearl? Pearl
Pearl's
might
alright,
work.
actually.
Yeah,
Pearl's
Pearl
not
might
bad.
work, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a little baby Clarence, it feels weird to me.
Yeah, I have turned to the book of Star Wars names.
Oh, yeah?
on several occasions to try to find. We're getting a Star Wars name in there somewhere.
Oh, let's
It's
go.
a middle name, maybe it's a first name. Well, we'll see.
Let's go. Fantastic. Yeah. So Natally, Anakin, Lawrence, I guess, is that's what you're going to go with. Natally. I was trying to figure out a way to make it work. All right. Well, listen, guys, it's been a hot minute since we did This Week in Geek. So some of the news that we're going to go over today might be a little bit older, but listen, we have to talk about it. So let's get into the news.
It's all about the details.
First up, this one is, again, a little bit of an older story, but a really important one, especially to us if you've known our podcast from the beginning in our days on YouTube. Obviously, we're huge Funko people. And Funko buys Mondo, high-end pop culture collectibles vendor from Alamo Drafthouse. This in an exclusive coming from Todd Spangler at Variety. Funko is popping cult fave pop culture brand Mondo into its merch mix. It's a tough sentence to say. Under a deal with indie theater chain Alamo Drafthouse, Funko acquired Mondo, which creates and sells vinyl records and soundtracks, posters, toys, apparel, books, games, and other collectibles. About 30 Mondo employees are now joining Funko. That's it, 30. Financial terms of the deal are not being disclosed, but it's obviously not massive. Funko says it does not expect the Mondo acquisition to have a material impact on its financial performance in 2022. Mondo, based in Austin, Texas, was founded in 2001 by Rob Jones and Tim League, and was previously a subsidiary of Alamo Drafthouse. Mondo has become best known for its limited edition vinyl records, very limited edition, I can never get one, and screen-printed posters, which focus on bringing art back to music and cinema through collaborations with acclaimed artists. Funko CEO Andrew Perlmutter told Variety the deal for Mondo was finalized this week after Memorial Day. Quote, Mondo's devoted fan base and high-end pop culture collectibles make it the perfect complement to Funko's current portfolio of brands, he said. By leveraging our international distribution and licensing network, we feel well positioned to expedite the growth of the Mondo brand. On Mondo's side, for its part, they commented, quote, we are still the same company that started in the theater lobby, only now with more resources to support our vision. We can't wait to show you what's next. Funko intends to run Mondo the way it has managed Loungefly, the apparel and accessories brand it acquired in 2017. According to Perlmutter, again with another quote, Mondo will operate as a unique brand in the portfolio, gradually integrating into the common back-end functions where it increases efficiency or makes sense. So guys, obviously, as I mentioned at the top, we are huge Funko fans. We're huge Mondo fans. I got to ask, do you guys think this is a match made in heaven, or are you a little bit worried about how this might change Mondo or Funko?
I hope it changes Mondo for the better.
Yeah.
That you can't, like you said, like you can't get any of their stuff because they have bots patrolling and they do nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I know Funko has had the same problems, and I think they're better positioned to have more resources to maybe hopefully combat that. But that being said, it makes sense that Funko would acquire Mondo to bring them into the family of collectibles. And as the Mondo rep said, leverage their resources, leverage Funko's resources to help expand and grow, so that you can still operate as this small art house, collectible and print shop, but you just have more resources and Funko's resources at your disposal.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't change anything in terms of the identity of Mondo, and I'm fine with them doing the extremely limited runs that they do, just because that makes every piece that cool and unique and special. Yeah. But like Justin said, I really do hope that maybe with Funko's experience and just better resources, they can cut down on bots and make it so that the limited run goes to people and fans who really want this stuff, instead of people who are just there to make a quick buck. That's always bothered me about Funkos too,
And it would be nice to see more unlimited runs. You know what I mean? Like, I think, yes, the limited runs for the very special pieces that Mondo does. But I think as they start to expand, I mean, I love the idea of maybe getting to see some of their stuff at Disney. Loungefly is all over Disney parks, right? So I think it would be really cool to see Mondo start to break into that scene. And there's a few of those, like, art stores, in Disney and in downtown Disney and Disney Springs. And so I think it would be really cool to see if we do get some of that, like Mondo Mickey's, dude.
It's likely.
Like Mondo Mickey's, my guy.
That would
Let's
be,
go.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And I wonder if this doesn't benefit Mondo just getting access to the huge licensing,
Right.
Exactly.
opportunities that Funko's gotten for themselves over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look at Loungefly. Like they pretty much play in the same licensing world as Funko. So, and their stuff goes hand in hand, right?
And you have to wonder if this will go the other way around as well. I mean, granted, Funko has a lot of resources, but Mondo has a very specific sort of, I think, group of artists that they can bring maybe to the Funko side. Like, do we start to see maybe more high-end Funko products as well, like as they start to integrate a little bit more?
They have an artist
more.
series.
Right. And so it's like how
They do have an artist series.
but like
so, yeah.
could we get it, could we potentially be seeing the Funko Pop product line in maybe even a different material? Do they go that far, or maybe they keep it separate? But I don't know, man. This has gotten me really stoked. Cool. Sweet. Well, I am interested and stoked to see what their first collaboration will be. And then again, if anyone from Mondo or Funko is listening, Mondo Mickey's, make it a thing. It's got to be a thing. It's right there. It's so easy. But listen, Great Scott, Back to the Future, the musical, is headed to Broadway in 2023. This comes from Ryan O'Rourke at Collider. It's about time. Back to the Future, the musical, is officially set for Broadway as expected after widespread acclaim for the West End production. Producers confirmed the musical was Broadway bound in a tweet on the official Back to the Future Twitter account that included a small promo clip showing off the famous DeLorean time machine with Marty McFly and Dr. Emmett Brown about to speed through time at 88 miles per hour. Synchronize your watches because the musical will arrive in 2023. Based on the 1985 classic starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, the musical was long in the works idea, originally conceived by one of the film's original writers, Bob Gale. It made its world premiere at the Manchester Opera House in March 2020 before moving over to West End in September of that year. The pandemic obviously threw a wrench in the plans for production, but it came roaring back when it opened in 2021 at the Adelphi Theatre, winning an Olivier Award for Best New Musical this year in 2022. Back to the Future, the musical, featured a pair of talented actors taking the lead roles, with Ollie Dobson playing Marty McFly and Tony Award winner Roger Bart donning the lab coat as the wild-haired Doc Brown. It featured a book from Gale adapted from the original screenplay, penned by him, and his Back to the Future co-writer and director Robert Zemeckis, with Alan Silvestri and Glenn Ballard composing the original music used in the musical. Since the film was also known for its legendary soundtrack, classic tracks like Huey Lewis's The Power of Love and Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good are also featured in the musical. There are currently no details on what theater Back to the Future the musical will play in, nor are there many other details other than just that tweet. But the official site has a place to sign up. They say, quote, sign up yesterday for more information as it becomes available and first access tickets for the show. So, Kevin, with your love for the original franchise, but musicals maybe not being so much your jam, I want to know, is this a musical you're actually going to go see?
I actually don't mind musicals as much when they're live on a stage being performed. I think it works better for the format. I'm still not a huge fan, but
Sure.
no, again, I think it plays better in that regard. And this is definitely one that I would check out. I just want to hear, the main theme with lyrics over it, Oh,
Totally.
Great Scott, we've got to get back in the DeLorean.
He's already writing
That
it,
would
dude.
be
He's already
amazing.
writing it. I love it. Yeah, I think this sounds awesome. I mean, the fact that it's I think it's going to be really big. They've got Zemeckis and Alan Silvestri behind it. Like that seems like they're going to keep things pretty close to the original. And with the use of those songs, like, you have to imagine they probably had to do quite a bit of like legal jumping around and pay some good money for those tracks. So to be able to bring it across, I mean, it sounds like they've got the heart for it.
Sure. I think probably in regards to getting the rights to those musics for a theatrical play, depending on how long that run is, I imagine that would probably be more affordable than getting it for a movie where it's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
That being said, the fact that they are going back to the roots of Back to the Future with Zemeckis and so many other parts of the original movie kind of contributing, it just means they have the support, they have the backing. It's the next evolution of the story to be envisioned in a musical, and it makes sense. It could leverage some of that campiness that musicals will give to help tell the story again in a different way, while still feeling very much a retro play, if you will, right?
Totally.
So I think it's such a cool idea, and it's only in, they haven't said what theater it's going to be in, though.
I think the only thing I've heard is that it's going to be in New York, I think, maybe, which, I mean, I've never been to New York, so like if we want to start planning our trip right now and get over there, I think this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Because man, I think this sounds like a ton of fun, and I think it's going to be interesting to see, a different group of people play these characters. I think that's another aspect to it. I just wanted to see if Kevin would dig it or not. That's all.
Now, Kevin, in the DeLorean, I'm doing it, baby.
Kevin, if they recorded this and put it on some sort of streaming service, you'd watch it day one, right?
I see. I just
there we go.
play the same way for me. Yeah,
we lost him. Yeah, we got to see it live. We got to see it live. All right. Well, listen. Speaking of seeing things live, there's going to be a bunch of people in San Diego that are going to see some really dope stuff live very soon, because Kevin Feige confirms Marvel Studios' big return to San Diego Comic-Con is next month. This comes from Valerie Ettenhofer at /Film. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has confirmed that the studio will make its epic San Diego Comic-Con return next month. Quote, "We'll be at Comic-Con next month, which we're excited about." Kevin Feige revealed, noting that the massive studio hasn't been present at the massive pop culture convention since 2019. Feige notes that this will be the first time since we were on stage 3 years ago talking about this movie and many others. I believe he's referring to Thor, Love and Thunder in that quote. Now, Feige notes that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has pretty much played the entire hand it revealed at the con 3 years ago. Quote, "I think that not everything, but almost everything we discussed 3 years ago has now been released," Feige says. So yes, we're excited to go and talk about the future. Continuing, he said, "We always look at least 5 years to 10 years ahead. The plans sometimes change and twists and turns happen, but his statements indicate that the studio has at least a rough outline of what the next 5 years plus will look like." So, guys, with this Hall H return confirmed for July 23rd, I want your thoughts. I want to know, what do you think about this? And as well as, what are your predictions for what's getting announced? I would love it if you gave me one safe prediction, and then I want one, get crazy with me, get one wild prediction.
That's a tough one, because I was thinking about it today. Like, they've released most of what they announced in 2019.
Right.
I think the only things really are Black Panther, which is right around the corner, She-Hulk, which is also right around the corner, obviously. And then we got Marvels, I think, as well, was probably announced there, and that's coming later.
Was that Mahershala Ali as well as Blade?
Yeah, Blade was that announced
then?
Yeah, that's also, that was announced. Fantastic Four, obviously. So I think we're likely to get more information about Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Even with John Watts out, maybe casting news in regards to that. But I think the crazy one would be if they announce that they're doing a Secret Wars movie.
Yeah, dude.
With the Russo brothers coming back to direct, because they've been very open about, basically Infinity War and Endgame was sort of their way of trying to tell that story, right? And they would love to come back and actually tell that story.
Yeah, it would kind of create like a North Star, I think, right? Like, it would kind of create like a big event thing that we're all like, okay, this is where we're heading towards. And I mean, a lot of the fandom's already kind of figured it out, right? So
yeah, I think that's where they're heading with variants and multiverses and all of that,
incursions,
and we've met Kang. Yeah. Like, I think that's where we're headed. So I do think that's the next big event to take place.
Yeah. Kevin, do you have any safe predictions?
Yeah, I think we'll get some information about like a Thunderbolts movie. I think I think they've set that up. We've got most of the main players with Yelena and Baron von Zemo and everyone sort of ready to go there. So I think we'll get some sort of official announcement for that. I mean, I do want to say I'm still, anytime a Hall H Marvel appearance is mentioned, I still get bitter, remembering sitting out just 150 feet from the Hall H doors for 12 hours waiting to get into the building. I was that close from seeing the big one back in 2015, which was basically every Avenger on stage. Brolin announced as Thanos coming out with the gauntlet. Like, that would have been the epic of all epicness. And all I got to see was 6 black SUVs with a police escort enter through the back of the building. And that was apparently the whole cast. So I got to see them from afar behind black tinted windows, and that was as close as I got. So yeah, I do get bitter every time a Hall H Marvel appearance is mentioned.
Absolutely.
But if I was going to go crazy, everybody's been talking about John Krasinski as Reed Richards for years now, and then we did get to see him as a variant form of that character. But I think rather than seeing him on that side of the camera for the Fantastic Four, I think it would be crazy if they announced that he would be helming and directing the Fantastic Four movie. I love his work so far with A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. And I just think it would be a crazy turn of events to see him behind the camera instead of in front of it for that franchise.
It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think it's very likely that something like that could happen. And I also think that it's very likely he would cameo as a version of Reed Richards in the movie, but it wouldn't be about him, right? Like, it wouldn't be a story about with him as Reed Richards is the whole thing. I think this would be their way of really tapping into the multiverse that much more. But hearing more information, especially about like how Kevin Feige wanted to cast John Krasinski, I think there was an article that was released recently online. I just saw it in my Twitter feed and talked about how Kevin Feige said that this is their opportunity to give fans what they wanted because he is a variant of Reed Richards. It's not going to be their version, so why not give it to them?
Why not?
So that fed that decision, and that makes sense. So, but yeah, I think John Krasinski has the directorial chops to lean into a Marvel movie, to have the heart and the fun with it. If anything, A Quiet Place 1 and 2 very much prove that he can balance the genre tropes with a consistent story.
Totally. And like, yeah, I just think I think it's a perfect way. Like, you introduce him as that character, and then he sort of can bring everything he knows about the brief moment that he was to that movie. For my safe prediction, I was going to say, Thunderbolts, Kevin Feige comes out, logo on screen. We get a date, I think. I think he brings out the entire cast on stage. We get Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, Tim Roth, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and then I think Sebastian Stan as Bucky, like as a surprise sort of add to that movie, I think would be really cool. But because Kevin took that, I'm going to say Moon Knight season 2. I think is a safe bet. I think where we left Moon Knight, I think it would work. I think it would really be really cool to see that continued. And then my wild prediction is that we're going to get 2 Avengers movies announced. I think we're going to get, obviously, like you mentioned, Secret Wars. I think would be a really cool North Star. And I think there'd be another one, and this would be okay, you thought you knew enough with Secret Wars. Okay, well, did you know we're doing a Young Avengers movie? I think would be really, really dope. I think we've seen Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. We got Cassie Lang as Stature, Elijah Bradley as Patriot, Tommy and Billy as Wiccan and Speed. Maybe not those exact actors, but America Chavez, Kid
Let's
Loki, right? And most recently with Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel in the MCU. Clearly, they're building this team, and we're seeing all of our main characters get replaced. We got Riri Williams coming in as Ironheart soon. I think, imagine seeing all of them up on stage, and he's just like, we're ready to go, and we get the announcement for who Billy and Tommy are. Like, that would just be mind-blowing, and I think it would be really cool to sort of like, you know, have an understanding of like, there's not just one Avengers movie coming. It's like there's 2. It'd be like a big mic drop moment for Kevin Feige.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's thinking that the Young Avengers is in some way meant to be like the big replacement to the Avengers team, but I think it's just a new team mashup.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, they've planted all those seeds so well throughout this last 3 years, I guess, of new content that, it makes sense to tell that story. But I gotta know, like, what do you think we're going to see though in terms of footage? Because I feel like we'll probably get some Black Panther footage.
I hope so at this point.
At least like a teaser. Yeah. And maybe Marvels.
Yeah.
Because that's coming out in February.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get Disney Plus stuff though. I think that's going to still be saved for D23 in September. If it's September, I believe. Anyway,
that makes sense.
Happening
Yeah, that makes sense.
Year, so.
Right. So maybe that's where they announce like Moon Knight season 2, or they show footage of Echo or something like that. Would be really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, they probably would do something like that. I don't think it's not unlikely though that they would at least make the announcement.
Yeah.
Of a season 2 for Moon Knight if that's something that they want to do. But to your point, maybe the things that are a little more in motion, if you will, like Echo, maybe some information about Daredevil.
Yeah.
That might be at D23 because of the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we'll probably get some more. We got to get something for Black Panther.
Yeah, totally. And I think it might be also kind of neat to see in some way. Just give it to me some way. Get David Harbour back. I want a Red Guardian, even if it's like a mini series.
Thunderbolts, man.
I guess would he show up in the Thunderbolts? Would that be where he is?
He could.
Yeah, it would make
he could
sense,
definitely show up.
Sure.
I think that's where I would put him. Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. Even if it was just him, even if it was just like a mini series of shorts where he's just giving life advice, like that would be phenomenal. He's just drunk and he's just giving life advice to people.
Give me a show or maybe an episode, I'm not sure, with Bucky and Red Guardian.
Dude.
Like, that would be dope. That would be cool. And they, like, knew each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he remembers him and stuff.
Get Baron Zemo in there for some reason and just make it, like, this really great comedic. Oh, dude, let's go. We have to wait and see. Not too long, right? Again, I think it's July 23rd is when we are going to hear more. So, listen, you know nothing, Jon Snow. But apparently Jon Snow knows something, because Game of Thrones Jon Snow sequel series in development at HBO. This is an exclusive coming from James Hibbard at The Hollywood Reporter. You know nothing about HBO's post-Game of Thrones plans. The network has entered into early development on its first sequel to its blockbuster fantasy drama, a live-action spin-off series centered on the fan-favorite character Jon Snow, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Kit Harington is attached to reprise the role should a series move forward. The actor was twice nominated for an Emmy for his portrayal of the action hero who struggles to uphold his family's noble values in a brutal world. In Thrones Season 8 and the final season, Jon Snow discovered his true name was Aegon. Oh, spoilers for Game of Thrones if everyone's worried. Jon Snow discovered his true name was Aegon Targaryen, a potential heir to the Iron Throne. In the series finale, he was exiled from Westeros and journeyed north of the Wall with the wildlings to leave his old life behind. The development signals an intriguing new direction in HBO's handling of author George R.R. Martin's fantasy universe, a move not unlike Disney Plus's management of its Star Wars and Marvel brands, where the streamer has focused its success on launching character-focused sequel series such as WandaVision and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This development news means there are now 7 holy crap. There are now 7 Thrones projects in the work, in addition to the upcoming House of Dragon prequel series, which debuts August 21st. So I guess that's 8 in total. HBO's other live-action prequels in various stages of development are 10,000 Ships, a.k.a. Nymeria, with showrunner Amanda Siegel, 9 Voyages, a.k.a. The Sea Snake, with showrunner Bruno Heller, and Dunk and Egg, I guess these are all like the code names, for with showrunner Steve Conrad. There are also 3 animated prequel projects first reported by The Hollywood Reporter, including The Golden Empire, which is set in the China-inspired land of Yi Ti. In addition, there's a Game of Thrones stage play in development that would revive iconic characters and explore the origins of Robert's Rebellion, which the Hollywood Reporter first reported in March. HBO and Harrington's representatives had no comment at this time. Guys, So with this like being like the 7th or 8th Game of Thrones project in the works right now, are you excited or are you worried that we might be delving dangerously into like Walking Dead spin-off territory where a lot of these things are going to fall flat on their face, maybe not get renewed in any way? What do you guys think?
Sounds like they're squeezing this thing for whatever.
Yeah,
they
the
can get
milk
out
of the
it,
poppy
right?
is
Like
coming out of that teat quite a bit. Quite a bit. I don't know if that's where milk of the poppy comes from, but yeah, dude.
I mean, to be fair, you guys don't seem to mind when they do 18 different Star Wars shows a year. So, and I think I think George R. R. Martin created a pretty
Fair.
big world that still
fair.
has a lot to be explored. I'm just not sure if, taking a character whose fate was pretty well wrapped up and decided for us, and then launching him on a new series of adventures. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull it off. I think there's a lot of stuff that happened in the stories north of the Wall that they didn't really explore. They really only focused on the White Walkers, and there's a lot of magic to sort of still be explored that they can use as a basis for the show. So I certainly think there's potential. I loved Kit Harington. Jon Snow was my boy. He was my guy. Getting to see more Tormund would never be a bad thing at all. But like, wouldn't a show following Arya discovering, uncharted parts of the world be a more
Like a pirate Arya series?
It'd be such a better opportunity. So maybe we'll
it
see
would've-
that down the road. Who
People
knows?
would have watched that.
Yeah.
Well, one of those boat ships the boat shows that you were talking about
Could have
be
been
about
the
her, but we
Nymeria
just
one
don't
or
know.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I honestly, I agree with you, Kevin. I'm stoked, though, to get more, at least of Kit Harington. Again, like you said, Jon Snow's character is kind of like, we're done, but at the same time, like, it's Kit Harington, and I think, it's interesting. I think he deserves kind of anything that he wants to do. Kit Harington, apparently it was his idea to even do this. Amelia Clark said to the BBC, quote, "It's being created by Kit, as far as I can understand, so he's in it from the ground up." And then George R. R. Martin said in a blog post, "Yes, it was Kit Harington who brought the idea to us. I cannot tell you the names of the writers or the showrunners, since that has not been cleared for release yet, but Kit brought them in too. It's his own team, and they are terrific." So, I mean, you got to imagine this guy's got a lot of heart for this character. He's talked about before, like, how difficult it is to shoot some of these shows. And so I can only imagine, like, if this is what he's taking on, and especially with the reception of season 8 being where it was, this is a big thing, and that's really scary. So I have trust in him that he's got something really good on his hands that he wants to bring forward.
Yeah, he's also talked about how like emotionally connected he was. He went through a bit of depression after this whole thing and kind of letting go. So, I think through that he probably found a way to want to tell more stories and accept that he wants to be this character more. If he's bringing people and George R. R. Martin's behind it, like, it just shows that, again, there's good support there. It's not just being done for the sake of it. So I guess we'll wait and see. I hope they just decide to do like a little mini series with it as a test trial to see if how audiences take it. But yeah, more Kit Harington is always welcomed.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting too, and I like the idea, Kevin, that you mentioned of like the stuff that happened behind the wall, like not necessarily that we want to see. Like, this is a sequel series, but I love me a flashback, Kevin. I love my flashbacks. So if we get some, Jon Snow flashbacks and we get to see some stuff that happened, because I mean, he's not a completely different age that it will look weird or they have to do any CGI. So I think that would be really cool if they could solve that.
Well, and even on that note, I mean, it's an opportunity to explore a little bit more about the Children of the Forest and how the White Walkers actually came to be. I mean, we got, in that whole 8-season arc, we got 1 4-minute flashback. They never really explored the images in the caves that they discovered on Dragonstone. So yeah, you could have Jon sort of discovering what happened there in an attempt to make sure it never happened again. There's lots of possibilities for what they can do with the show, for sure.
Totally.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, again, winter is coming back. So we'll have to wait for more of that. That's it for the news, guys. Let's move on. Kevin, wait, did you bring your banjo this time? I think you did. You got it there?
I never forget the banjo, bud. It's on the knee, ready to go.
Perfect. Well, let's get to it.
It's trailer time.
Alrighty. So our first trailer that we got this evening is for an Apple TV Plus series Surface from showrunner Veronica West and executive producers Lauren Neustadter, Sam Miller, and Reese Witherspoon. This is set in high-end San Francisco. Surface stars Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who's most recently known on The Morning Show as Sophie, a woman who has suffered a traumatic head injury that has left her with extreme memory loss, believed to be the result of a suicide attempt. As Sophie embarks on a quest to put the pieces of her life back together with the help of her husband and friends, she begins to question whether or not the truth she is told is in fact the truth she has lived. Through twists and turns and a shocking love triangle, this sexy elevated thriller, that's in the description, asks, what if you woke up one day and didn't know your own secrets? Surface is a story of self-discovery which contemplates if we are pre-programmed to become who we are or if we choose our own identity. Again, this is starring Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Ari Grainer, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who seems to be showing up everywhere, Oliver Jackson Cohen, Francois Arnaud, Stephen James, and Millie Brady. Millie Brady. Nailed it. This is streaming exclusively on Apple TV Plus on July 29th. Guys, what did you think of our first look at Surface?
I have to say, I was really confused. I thought, why are we going and looking at the 2005 NBC show Surface starring Lake Bell? And then of course, figured it all out and put the pieces back together. I think this looks like it has a lot of potential, but might have also blown its entire load in the trailer. I really hope there's a lot more going on here than what they sort of described in the trailer. I hope there's some more twists and turns, because it did seem like it was going to be built on this mystery that they basically unfolded and gave to us in the trailer. I really hope there's more going on.
I think there will be more below the surface.
It's just not. Yeah, maybe it's just not as obvious. Oh, I see. Good one.
Yeah,
good
because
one.
the show's called Surface.
I feel like to Kevin's point, they've revealed all the major players that could potentially be taking part in, this fabricating this truth and hiding this secret from her.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think that there's something interesting with these themes that Apple TV series seem to be playing with. This feels very parallel to something like Severance.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say,
identity and understanding self.
Another mystery box thriller. I think the fact that she's afraid of her own husband and doesn't know who he is freaky and terrifying. And honestly, Gugu Mbatha-Raw in the morning show was
just so good.
So good. And, this is a collaboration between Apple TV Plus and Reese Witherspoon's production company, Hello Sunshine. And they did the morning show. And so their track record so far, I mean, it's only one thing, but that I know of, is fantastic. So this looks freaky. I think, all the different people in her life, like I kind of got vibes of like the Truman Show, just in the sense of like everyone collectively knows more than she does. I like that it's set in San Francisco. I like that it feels like with the way it's shot too, with like all the fuzzy scenes. Like I feel like we're gonna get a lot of moments where we'll follow the main character and we'll just be right there with her. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're not going to reveal their hand too quickly. It's going to be a slow sort of mystery burn, and I'm down for it. I'm down to check it out at least. Again, I like the idea behind it. Right. Anyways, again, that is happening on Apple TV Plus, July 29th. Maybe we'll look at trying to see if we can talk about it more in the future. But let's go on to this next trailer here. They/Them. Directed and written by John Logan. This is a movie coming to Peacock. When a group of LGBTQ plus campers arrives at Whistler Camp, which is a conversion camp run by Owen Whistler, played by Kevin Bacon, they are promised a new sense of freedom by the end of the week. But as the counselors attempt to psychologically break down each of the campers, a mysterious killer starts claiming victims, and they must reclaim their power if they're going to survive the horrors of the camp. Again, this stars Kevin Bacon, Theo Germain, Carrie Preston, Anna Klumsky, Quay Tan, Austin Crute, Monique Kim, Anna Lore, Cooper Koch, and Darwin Del Fabro. Again, this is streaming on August 5th on Peacock. Guys, who wants to kick it off here? What do we think of the trailer for They/Them?
I think this was the best, the best put together trailer that we saw this week. I thought it was really well done. Really creepy, eerie vibes. This movie is just absolutely terrifying looking because it is basically, what the Republicans are trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's like if the Catholic Church ran a summer camp for conversion therapy. Like that's
unreal.
It's clearly. What was the movie Hunted or The Hunters or The Hunt, I think it was, that very much spoke about gun control and everything like that. This is very much looks like a commentary on that. With obvious, if you're familiar with Sleepaway Camp, and the big reveal at the end of that movie, a pretty famous little twist to the end of the movie. I get a little bit of vibes from that, but no, it's like, it looks like a slasher film with a lot of social commentary, which is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems like there's multiple layers of horror that are at play in this movie, from like the social to the sort of demonic and the murderous, if you will. So and the psychological in a lot of ways. So this looks like horror done at its best when it mixes and plays with the genre. And Kevin Bacon looks freaky as fuck.
Dude, I'm stoked for him to be an antagonist. Like, I think that's fantastic. I hope he dances at one point, but it's like scary because we've just been seeing a lot of like older white guys dancing in movies recently as our antagonists. So I figure might as well include him too. But I think this is the perfect time to announce this, right? It's Pride right now, and so an LGBTQ plus revenge slasher, I think is going to be awesome. I hope we get to see all of them come out on top. And yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they can sort of handle and sort of set up the fun of a slasher with the more realistic, like really real world scary aspects of conversion camps. It's just gonna be interesting to see how they balance that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just, speaking of Kevin Bacon, it's so cool that he got his start as a victim in Friday the 13th. And now he's come right full circle to be, the seemingly the antagonist in another, summer camp slasher movie. That's just a lot. It's always fun when they can do that. It's kind of like Ethan Hawke in, the what's it, the Black Telephone,
the Black Phone or whatever. Yeah,
the Black Phone. Where he's been, the victim in so many really good horror movies in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and now he's playing the villain as well. It's always fun when these great, big name actors come back to do something like this.
Totally. And speaking of the names, like John Logan also wrote Skyfall and Spectre. And one of my favorite animated movies, he wrote Rango. So I trust the writing chops here. Like, I think he's definitely got something going for him on that aspect.
Yeah, it's always interesting when established people go to do a horror movie, because usually the genre doesn't get a lot of respect. That's where you almost like cut your teeth. That's where you get your start before your big break.
Sure.
And so if you have a resume built up, and then you feel that you have this story that's worth telling, even if it's in a genre that doesn't always get as much respect, that seems very promising.
Totally.
Yeah, I think the horror genre has changed so much over the years.
It has.
I think that there is a respect for the genre. It is about trying to find a new way to be different in that genre, so it doesn't feel so tent-poled or connected to what's already been done. It's being inspired by what's already been done and kind of taking it in a new direction. So it's one of those genres that you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into a box where you're stuck with just playing with the same things that all other horror movies are playing with. So you gotta have your twists and your turns and your sort of social commentaries and all those different things at play. So I feel like this movie is going to have a lot of that.
And the teaser was honestly, as you said, Kevin, was really well done. I think it gets scarier and scarier. I love how the frame is almost slashed in half, right? And it's also, but like, and then the other aspect though that I love is, and we got this in Game of Thrones when it was like a moment where they cut from like, I think they were like filling up a bowl of like porridge to like cleaning out a toilet or something like that, and you get that sort of visual associative like sort of grossness. And there's a moment in this teaser trailer where on one side a pie is being cut into, and on the other side it's like focusing on like a girl. I think she's kind of getting some, but she's, you know, it focuses in on her stomach, and it's just to see that knife cut into the pie, like where it's almost like the pie is the belly button. Like it like grossed me, it freaked me the crap out. And I'm not usually freaked out by that stuff, but it was just sort of the association of those two images. So well done. So I'm intrigued to see if they kind of implement that in any way beyond the teaser trailer. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see this. This is going to be streaming on Peacock, as I said, on August 5th. So we'll have to figure out how to watch Peacock stuff. Let's move on to our next one here. This is One Up, directed by Kyle Newman. It's a movie coming to Amazon Prime. This is the description, not my description. This is the description that they wrote. This outrageously funny esports comedy follows Vivian V. Lee, a competitive gamer whose impressive skills have landed her a college scholarship and a place on the Betas, Barrett University's male-dominated team. But when the Betas captain, Dustin, tells V she'll never be a starting player, it's game on. Joined by her best friend Sloane and under the guidance of her coach Parker, V forms a fierce all-girl team to band together with one common goal: to level up to the Nationals and to take down the Betas. This is starring Paris Barelk, Ruby Rose, Taylor Zakar Perez, Hari Neff, Aviva Mongilo, Lolita Mylena, Naomi Kyle. If you follow IGN, you'd know Naomi Kyle. Nicholas Coombe, and the movie's director is also playing a role in there, Kyle Newman. This is streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime on July 15th. Guys, what did we think of One Up?
I just want to say I love that you had to absolutely clarify that you did not write that synopsis.
Yeah.
You are not calling this an outrageously funny movie.
No.
Because we all know that it will not be that.
Yeah, it's rough.
I know we can all appreciate what they're trying to do,
Yes.
but it does feel like that this movie has been designed to hit a specific target market. You know what I mean? So yes, gaming for females is huge. There's a market.
Yeah.
Kids and younger generation who are gaming and are in that world, that's another market. The slapstick comedy style, like this feels like Pitch Perfect, but with video games. In my
That's
opinion,
what I was looking for.
You take
it feels
back. Pitch Perfect is
Pitch Perfect's
but not
way
done
better.
as well.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
done as well. Whoa.
No, yeah. No, it's not. It's definitely but I just mean in the sense that it's playing with very,
it's trying to do that. It's trying to do the legally
typical comedic
right, the
tropes.
legally blonde thing
Exactly.
as well.
The Legally Blonde,
Right, but it's not.
Yeah,
but the problem is that the
American Pie,
entire trailer just it doesn't seem authentic. Like it doesn't feel like
It
it was
doesn't. No,
written
it
like there were
feels
any
fake, yes.
women or girls or women behind it. Like I don't know if there were. I didn't look that far into it, but it just feels really very cheesy. Like just not even good cheesy.
That's a good question.
Like bad cheesy, and also like the comedy really doesn't work. There's a lot of like gross out humor, and it just, as I said, it feels super inauthentic and just kind of unfortunately not what people should be watching. I don't know.
So just for the sake of it,
Yeah.
Directed by Kyle Newman, produced by Richard Allen Reed, Michael Phillip, and Jason Mooring as the three producers. When I just type it into Google, the first thing that comes up here. So yeah,
those do sound like male names, obviously. If you don't know, but
those sound like dudes. So yeah, I do think that this is a little out of touch.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's in touch with actual. That
feels
that
like a group
it
of
just
people
feels
who
like
have
it's very out of touch.
Yeah,
and
people have money who are just like,
connection.
oh yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. How much will we make off that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, this looks like, not American Pie. It looks like American Pie Bandcamp.
Yeah.
A crappy
Exactly.
direct
There you go.
DVD movie. That is what this sort of looked like. And it's funny you
There you
mentioned
go.
Pitch Perfect because the only even remotely potentially funny part of the trailer is actually ripped off from Pitch Perfect, where you have a guy on the one team and a girl on the other team. They were played by Adam Devine and Rebel Wilson in Pitch Perfect, who hate each other, but there's also some, sexual tension there. And I see that exact same joke being played out in that trailer. And it's like, man, this movie just looks like it's going to be a weak ripoff of good parts from other movies in this sort of style.
Yeah.
So this is
Mashed
the easiest,
up.
I am saving my quarters. I am letting it run to game over. I am not playing this one at all.
It sucks because, again, the storyline is a cool idea. It's such a cool concept. And, the esports
e-gaming,
world,
it's there. Dude, yeah.
It's huge, and it's so big, and I think it's not been adopted by a wider audience, and I think a good written movie that feels authentic like this. Imagine, dude, just imagine if we just got the people that did Cobra Kai to make an esports movie. That's perfect. That's exactly what this is trying to be.
Sure, but I think people know what esports is. They fucking rent out massive stadiums for these things.
Yeah.
It's huge. People know what it is. I think the part that really intrigued me about it was the fact that they're telling the story about girls in this gaming culture, which is very relevant.
Yeah.
The stats are huge on girl gamers that are kicking boys' asses in these games.
Yeah.
So to have a story like that being told and being shared, that's really cool. It's letting people know that video games aren't just a guy's thing, right?
Yeah.
So I can totally get behind that idea, but it does feel like after watching this trailer, it's completely out of touch with that group of audience from female and gamers. It just feels so forced. It just feels, non-authentic, as you said. So,
dude. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the. Listen, if it gets critical praise, then maybe we'll check it out. But other than that, I'm not going to touch this thing.
Final note here: production companies are Lionsgate and BuzzFeed Studios with distribution from Amazon Studios. It all sounds like everyone's got their hands in some algorithm stuff that's let's just make this movie.
Right, all those BuzzFeed quizzes, all those BuzzFeed quizzes. This is what came from it. We finally know. Let's move on to our final trailer for trailer time here. One that I actually thought was really surprising. Honor Society, directed by Oren Zegman. This is a movie that's coming out to Paramount Plus. Honor is an ambitious high school senior whose sole focus is getting into an Ivy League college, assuming she can score the coveted recommendation from her guidance counselor, Mr. Calvin. Willing to do whatever it takes, Honor concocts a Machiavellian-like plan to take down her top 3 student competitors until things take a turn when she unexpectedly falls for her biggest competition, Michael. This is starring Angourie Rice, Gaten Matarazzo, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. This is, again, streaming on Paramount Plus July 29th. Guys, what did we think of the trailer for Honor Society?
I will just say, good Lord, how old are we that Christopher Mintz-Plasse is now the teacher?
Doesn't
my
make sense.
God.
Doesn't
Isn't
make
that
sense.
long since Superbad?
It doesn't make sense. Honestly, I can't buy it. Originally I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, he's not a principal. He can't be the principal of her school. Even a guidance counselor. I'm not even a guidance counselor. I'm not buying it. No way, dude. He does not fit that role at all. And obviously that's kind of what they're playing with in the trailers, that he is he's super young. He's like, come see my show or whatever. So I get it. Maybe he'll end up surprising me with it, but I love the fourth wall breaking narration in the trailer. I think Angourie Rice is fantastic. If you don't know where you've seen her before, you've seen her as Ned's girlfriend, Betty Brant, in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. She was also, first time I ever saw her was in The Nice Guys, and I actually saw that going back to our first news story at an Alamo Drafthouse. So that was kind of fun, and she's phenomenal in that. She plays a much older, she's always sort of played a much older soul, and obviously that's true in this movie as well. And she was also in an episode of Black Mirror with Miley Cyrus, where she does sort of play a little bit more of a younger character there. But I don't know. I think this looks really fun. I don't know, a high school sort of drama, but with some sort of quippy Deadpool-esque stuff with a female protagonist.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it looks very much like a Rushmore. That sort of idea. I mean, we've looked now back to back at 2 sort of high school based films, and one looks, I don't know if this seems so good just compared to One Up, or if it actually
that
does
might be
seem
it.
like a good movie.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere in between there. But no, I was blown away by this one. Like it definitely, I went, oh, that doesn't look too bad at all.
Yeah, I think this was my favorite trailer of the trailers that we talked about.
Yeah.
I think it, in contrast to One Up, this trailer is very in touch with what it's trying to say. It confidently represents itself in this trailer. I think it's having fun. I love that that we see Gaten Matarazzo in something else other than Stranger Things.
I mean, he is basically playing the same character, though. Like, let's be fair. He's playing a big nerd.
Well, but he is. This is a different version. I don't think this is the confident, he's comfortable with himself Dustin. This is a not so sure of himself Michael is what his name is, right? And yeah, Christopher Mintz as Mr. Calvin. It's crazy to think the guy still looks ridiculously young.
He could be one of the high school students in the movie with them. Oh man! But
they have to make him look old by putting him in tweed jackets.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Like they had to make him look old. So I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, he's funny, and I know he'll deliver. But he seems like the typical sort of dean, if you will, that's going to get in their way, right?
Totally.
Or get in her way.
Yeah, man. And as we said, it's directed by Oren Zagman, who I've got to say I don't think I've ever seen any of their stuff. I don't know. It seems like pretty stuff. Pretty.
It's directed by a woman.
Okay.
Her name is Oren. Yeah, Oren Zagman. Yeah. Looking at her past work, I think she's done probably a lot more shorts. This is probably her first feature by the looks of it. It based on her IMDb. So yeah, again, I think this is something that is confidently in touch with the story that it's trying to tell,
which is
and
such
that is
stark
very
contrast.
much very much in contrast from One Up, which
it
just feels so disconnected and so out of touch.
Yeah, man. Very cool. Well, I am stoked to see Honor Society again streaming on Paramount Plus on July 29th. We'll be talking about it probably on a future, maybe a future Whatcha. Speaking of Whatcha, we're done trailer time, guys. Let's get into Whatcha. I'd love to know, because it's been a while. Kevin, what's one thing that you want to highlight that you've been watching, playing, gaming, reading, doing, anything? Whatcha?
I do have to admit, it's been a really busy couple weeks, month, whatever. We're getting ready for the arrival of little Robbie at the end of August. And so even just over the last week, my mother-in-law was in town from your neck of the woods there, Nate, coming in from Nova Scotia, because we had the baby shower over the weekend. And so it's always tough to watch a show or watch episodes of a show that a house guest or whatever isn't watching. You don't want to, here, we're on season 3, episode 5 of The Boys. Why don't you just tune in and watch Herogasm? So I actually have a lot of things.
Although I would have loved if you had done that to your mother.
That would have been springboard incredible. Somebody into an episode of a show like that, right?
Seems the giant
we
dick.
did watch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This
Love
is
sausage.
What you guys are
Love
doing.
sausage.
You're going to make terrible parents. But one thing we did watch was a movie I wanted to see just because it's one of my favorite subgenres, the romantic comedy adventure. So we checked out the Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, The Lost City. And I actually had a lot of fun. I love the genre. And for what it was a really fun little adventure comedy. There's some great comedy. Brad Pitt's great in it. I love Channing Tatum. He's so opposite of the typical leading man. He plays like good-looking klutz so well. He's so good at it. Sandy B's a rock star. So Daniel Radcliffe made a fun little antagonist. So no, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. If you want an easy breezy movie, that's available now. We streamed it for free. I couldn't believe it, considering it was just in theaters. So yeah, it was great.
That's cool. Yeah, it seems like from the trailers and everything I've seen about it and heard about it, it just seems like a fun sit down popcorn movie. You can turn your brain off and just sort of have fun with it. And yeah, man, I mean, any chance to get to look at Brad Pitt and Sandy B and Channing Tatum and even old Danny Ratty. You know, the old Danny Rad, I think, is a great opportunity, especially to see him playing characters that I'm assuming, based off the trailer, are kind of outside of again what I think a lot of people unfortunately expect with Daniel Radcliffe. So that seems pretty great.
Yeah, I will say he's kind of a little similar to. Sorry, 1 second here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. He's a little similar to his character in Now You See Me Too.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you suffered through that one, this is a better, just a better movie than Now You See Me Too. So if you want to see Daniel Radcliffe be a bad guy, check out Lost City instead of Now You See Me. Blah.
Nice. One of my favorite memes that I just discovered. I don't know if we want to bring memes to the Whatcha, but was a meme of Daniel Radcliffe, and it was Daniel Radcliffe's face on like a mountain or on a cliff, like superimposed, and then it just had nothing there, and it was just his face, and he was really boring. And then another one underneath it, and that was like him with like sunglasses, with like a truck, like a giant monster truck jumping off of it. And so the one on top said Daniel Boringcliffe, and the one below it said Daniel Radcliffe. And I was like, yeah! So I really hope he's seen that one before. Justin, whatcha?
Oh, man, it's been a busy week. Everything I've really watched primarily is stuff that we've watched. It's, Only Murders, and I saw Thor, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But I guess the one unique thing I did over the last few weeks was I've been playing the new Ninja Turtles game on my Switch and PS5.
Yeah.
Shredder's Revenge.
Let's go.
Nate, you and I, we beat the main
campaign, yes,
which was great. And
Yep.
it's a light story. It's not that long.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the pure nostalgic vibes of the game itself, the colors, the sound effects, the new animations. I could just watch that intro video on my PS5.
You were saying you want a whole animated
just on
series
loop
from that, right? Yeah.
From the game, the game should just be turned into an animated mini series that just kind of explores that story and maybe tells it a little bit better as an actual piece of content outside of the game. But the game itself is so much fun. And yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I did enjoy as we were playing through it, like Justin, like again, I'm normally the one, especially with a lot of these games, who if I'm playing with somebody, I'm kind of maybe explaining like my overzealous fandom to them. But this was kind of a refreshing thing for me because as we played, I think we sat down about 3 or 4 times to play it over co-op online, and just like getting to hear you like childishly like giddy over like, oh, there's like Metalhead, and there's holy crap, there's Dinobot or whatever, dude. It was so much fun to hear you like freaking out over these characters showing up and all these villains. And yeah, man, it's again, we just talked about like a movie that looks like it's confidently trying to tell its story, and this game is confidence. It's dripping confidence. It knows what its audience is, and yeah, man, so much fun. Kevin, you gotta get on the Turtles with us, because then we can do 3-player or get Darcy in here, get Meg. Let's all do it, dude.
Yeah, it'd be dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we could do it on Switch, no problem.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Nate, how about yourself? What have you been
I
up
thought
to?
you would never ask, dude. I'm like sitting here. I'm like, what are these two gonna ask me about my watch? Listen, it's funny. It's funny that all our trailers this week are for streaming content, because for my watcha, not only is it streaming content, it's exclusively streaming content from YouTube. I have a YouTube Premium subscription because I watch so much YouTube, and I get all these people. Don't at me if you want to at me. Be like, you can cut out ads for free with ad blockers, and it's super easy to install. I don't care about all that. I'll pay for it. I'm happy to. But every now and then, I come across YouTube Premium Originals, and I wanted to shout out this It's a really funny little, sort of surprising little series. It's only got 3 seasons, and it's not a huge commitment if you want to just jump in and watch it while you're having a meal or something. It's really fun. It's called Liza on Demand. It stars Liza Koshy, who is she's a mega YouTube star. It also stars Travis Coles and Kimiko Glenn, and it's basically about Liza, who works for an app called Tasket, where she completes a bunch of really odd jobs. Like there's this one episode where she gets hired to be a professional mourner at a funeral. So she's like, it's like how you would hire like somebody to fill out a party, but she's filling out a funeral, and she gets there and the entire place is filled with other professional mourners who are all like shaming her because she can't cry on demand, and they're all like showing her like she's like, they're like professional. They're like, yeah, this is how I cry, and like one of them gets discovered for having like what the guy that hires them all. He's like, yeah, and I discovered he had some performance enhancing onions in his pocket, and he was like, so it's just really fun stuff like that. There's another one where she gets hired to again attend a party, but like it's only because she's a minority. And she's at like this like mayor's like I don't know, some sort of like big mayor announcement speech thing. And so she's literally there as like one of 3 other minority people, and she's like sitting at the front, and she's like, she has no idea what's going on. And then she discovers that it's like this horrible white guy that she's like now promoting and is on posters for and stuff like that. So it's very like, it reminded me a lot of like Lucy, like I Love Lucy, where like the main character's just getting into all these like sort of funny little situations.
Sounds like it.
That sounds like a great comparison.
Right? I highly recommend it. It's very modern day comedy. It touches upon a lot of like modern day stuff, but it never, like, at least for the first season that I've watched so far, it never gets really heavy. Like, it's really light. So if you have YouTube Premium, I would give it a shot. I was very pleasantly surprised by it. Liza on Demand. Check it out.
That actually sounds like a great concept.
Yeah, man. Really fun stuff. Which I think, believe it or not, wasn't my I Love Lucy, didn't have something to do with an app? Wasn't it something to do with like an app-based thing with I Love Lucy when we did our total recast for I Love Lucy?
Jeez, it was so long ago, but it might have.
I'm pretty sure it was because it was I Love Lucy.
Well, you know what?
Lucy,
a listener's going to have to go check out that older episode and let us know.
Totally. Well, listen,
that thing is as vintage as I Love Lucy, let me tell you.
At this point, for sure. Well, listen, that's it. We hope you enjoyed This Week in Geek. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts on this week's news or any of the content we cover here, well, listen, I'm going to send a raven, my lord, over to the great J-Law of the North and have him tell you how you can reach us.
Well, they can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or they can reach out to us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies, TV shows, and games, including our spoiler-free reviews for The Man from Toronto, as well as The Sea Beast, which are both out now for you to listen to. And then I believe Sea Beast comes out on Netflix on July 8th.
July 8th.
Right. So Man from Toronto's out now, but Sea Beast, you got to wait a little bit on Netflix. But if you live in Canada, specifically in Toronto, and is it Vancouver, Justin? Yeah, go see it.
Yes, that's
go
correct.
see it in the theaters. Go support this this animated project because I think we need to be supporting more animated stuff from Netflix. It sounds like that's a really good idea right now. We also have our spoiler-free review for Disney and Pixar's Lightyear, and we've got a ton of interviews as well. Like we interviewed Lightyear director Angus MacLean, producer Galen Sussman, and composer Michael Giacchino. We interviewed Miss Marvel directors Adil and Bilal, who did episodes 1 and 6 of that show, and we also interviewed freaking Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker himself, and Deborah Chow, director of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And we recently wrapped our watch club for Obi-Wan. So if you watch the finale and you're freaking out like we did, come and listen to that episode, the original trilogy. All of us three here had a really good time talking about that finale. And we currently have our other watch club every single week for Miss Marvel, where we break down every moment filled with speculation, which drops every single Friday. Of course, our review for Thor: Love and Thunder will be coming soon on July 5th. So keep an eye on our socials to see whether or not the gods have graced us with yet again another excellent Thor movie. And finally, Of course, this is This Week in Geek. We're going to be dropping This Week in Geek episodes every single Wednesday where we bring you the latest news and trailers. Of course, if you didn't catch our last one, Justin actually talked to Darcy and I about Star Wars Celebration while we were there at the con, and we discussed all the incredible reveals as well as the amazing things about Star Wars and trailers and footage that isn't even out yet. Little secret things that we share. So definitely go give those episodes a listen and leave a 5-star review if you don't mind. Justin, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me for This Week in Geek. And as we say, love ya.
Get home safe, guys.
Peace.